Family greetings. Before I head out, I thought I'd do a video just highlighting Pan-Africanism as it relates to the Bahamas. Okay, many people would have this impression that Bahamians, due to our relative obscurity um, in terms of relationships in the Caribbean, uh, many people would think that the Bahamas is disconnected from the larger context of Pan-Africanism. I would like to let my subscribers know that this is not the case and it is most certainly untrue. If you consider our nation's first black prime minister was heavily involved in the legal case which ultimately led to the freedom of Nelson Mandela. Okay, I'm speaking about Lyndon Oscar Pinling, who has uh, laid down a foundation upon which our country is built. Okay, now the country still has many strides to make, but we have made many strides in the past. Also, during the period of Marcus Garvey's legacy during the UNIA heyday in the Bahamas, we had several of our premier politicians who were members of the UNIA. I'm talking about L.W. Young. I'm talking about brothers like A.F. Adderley, if I'm not mistaken. Many of our leaders, Paul Adderley, many of these brothers were the vanguard for black consciousness in the Bahamas. All right. Now, the last name I mentioned will surely be a subject of debate for Bahamians who are listening to this video. But basically, family, what I would like to say, the Bahamas has had many Pan-African organizations which are relatively unknown. Okay, a brother called Dion Hanna, he's an elder in the Rastafari community. He began an organization called the Bahamas Pan-African National Congress. All right, it was a short-lived but very impactful term of organizing. They never actually contested any seats in parliament. But we also have, most recently, our brother Alex Molly, who is the head of the Bahamas branch of the African People's Socialist Party. All right. And the African People's Socialist Party has contested two elections to date. Our brother offered himself as an independent candidate, actually not an independent candidate. He offered himself under the auspices of the African People Socialist Party. And so, as I mention these things, I feel inclined to speak to this issue directly because in the Bahamas, due to us not recognizing this relationship, sometimes we are unable to support organizations that are actually in our best interest due to the stigma that is attached to Pan-Africanism. Okay, the reference of the term Pan-African or the term socialist sets off alarm bells in many voters, and basically, it is because of the fear tactics that have been employed by incumbent parties and the colonial administration. Okay, as I said in a previous video, the African cultural elements of our society were steadily eroded by the presence of colonialism and the fact that many of the black residents decided to follow suit with this colonial programming more so than enhance the African identity, which was previously very present and very real. All right, it has emerged as some of our cultural expressions like Junkanu, but we definitely have our histories and roots in Africa. Okay, so what I'm saying is Bahamians should not be reluctant to support Pan African organizations because they do, on some levels, appear to be exclusive. But if we have any organization that is represented by Bahamians in the Bahamas, I believe that the ultimate agenda of these organizations is for the development of Bahamians. So I don't believe that this stigma should really be applied when we have brothers who are basically making African culture their foundation and the basis of their philosophy. All right. And most certainly they are not opposed to the other residents who live in the Bahamas who may not be of African ancestry. So I think that there is a perception from many that these organizations that say Pan African or socialist, that they are somehow not for all Bahamians. All right. So I would just like to put that to rest today if I can. It's open for debate. I would like to discuss this one in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. One love.